I remember back when I was in high school during my junior year, a new kid joined 2 of my classes about midway through the semester. It was the first semester of the school year, and out of nowhere, he was just there one day. His name was Justin, and he sat next to me in one of the classes because there happened to be an open seat. I didn't really know where he had come from or why he had suddenly started going to my school, but as the semester went on, I sort of became friends with him. We didn't really have much in common, and he seemed a little bit weird, but we did sit next to each other in one class and had another class together, so he would often talk to me during class. Overall, I never knew him very well. I did ask him a few questions about himself. For example, I asked him what school he had come from before ours. He named a school that I had never heard of before and said that he had recently moved to the area, but aside from that, he didn't really share much about himself. Still, I was friendly with him and didn't mind talking to him here and there, even though he could be a bit annoying during class with his constant comments. After probably 2 or 3 weeks of him attending our school, he invited me to hang out at his house one evening. Initially, I wasn't sure if I wanted to, but I agreed, thinking it might be nice to get to know him better. After school, I went home, and later that evening, Justin texted me his address. I got directions and drove to his house, which was about 10 minutes away. The neighborhood wasn't the best, but it had a lot of smaller houses. I parked and texted Justin that I was there. He didn't respond right away, so I got out of the car and walked to the front door, knocking lightly. There was no response for at least a minute. I texted Justin again, and he told me to come inside. The door was unlocked, so I hesitantly opened it and stepped in. The house was eerily quiet and almost completely dark. I called out, saying hello, but there was no reply. As I ventured further inside, I noticed a door leading to the basement was slightly ajar, and I could hear faint noises, like a TV or a video game, coming from below. I figured Justin must be in the basement, probably playing video games since I knew he liked to play Call of Duty. I started heading down the basement stairs, and the farther down I got, the louder the noises became. However, it was pitch dark, and I could barely see anything. I called out again, but there was no answer. Suddenly, I felt a strong shove from behind, causing me to fall forward onto the ground. I heard laughter echoing in the darkness. I quickly got to my feet, trying to make sense of what just happened, but before I could react, I was shoved again and kicked in the legs. More laughter followed. I couldn't see who it was, but I knew I had to get out of there. I ran back towards the stairs, tripping over the first step but catching myself. I sprinted up and out of the house, not looking back. I drove home, my heart pounding. When I got home, I texted Justin, demanding to know what that was all about, but he never responded. The next school day, which was a Monday, Justin was in class, but we both ignored each other. Normally, he would be talking to me incessantly, but this time he was silent. This continued for a few days until one day, he just wasn't in class anymore. It seemed he had switched schools again, and I never saw him after that. I still wonder what happened in that basement and what his intentions were. During my senior year, I had another unsettling experience. School got out every day at 2:40 p.m., and it was always chaotic with everyone scrambling to leave. However, one day I got out early because I was in an advanced class that had finished a test early. I left the classroom and walked to my car, parked in the main student lot at the west end of the school. It felt strange to be leaving without the usual crowd. As I walked, I noticed a man standing by a tree at the edge of the parking lot. He was wearing sunglasses and seemed out of place. The next day, I saw the same man in the same spot. He was halfway hidden behind a tree, watching me. It was unsettling, but I didn't think much of it until a few days later when I noticed a car following me home. It was a small black sedan, and the driver was wearing sunglasses, just like the man I had seen at school. The car followed me all the way to my house, but thankfully, it didn't pull into my driveway. I watched as it continued down the street. That evening, while sitting at my desk in my bedroom, which faced the front yard, I saw the same man walking slowly down my street, looking towards my house. I quickly told my parents, and my dad went outside to confront him. The man ran away, and I never saw him again. I reported the incident to my school counselor just in case. In another unsettling experience during my freshman year, I would get a ride to school with my older brother, who was a senior. One day, after my practice ended, I was waiting for my brother's practice to finish. My friend Jack and I, both in similar situations, decided to explore the school. We wandered into an old wing of the building and found a staircase leading to a basement we didn't know existed. We went down the stairs and found a dark, mostly empty hallway. As we explored, we heard a door open and saw a man who didn't look like he belonged there. He started walking towards us aggressively, telling us to come to him. We ran back upstairs and didn't see him again. When we returned later, the doors to the basement were locked. In another instance, a stranger approached me at my locker, asking me to skip class with him. He was older and didn't seem like a student. When I refused, he persisted, even asking to give me a ride home. I later found out he wasn't a student at all, but a 23-year-old man who had been harassing other girls. He was eventually caught trying to kidnap someone. During my freshman and sophomore years, I would walk to and from school. One morning, a man in a car offered me a ride, which I declined. He followed me again after school, and the next day he tried to block my path with his car. I cut through yards to avoid him and told my mom. After that, I took the bus until I got my driver's license. These experiences taught me to be cautious and aware of my surroundings. Each encounter left a lasting impression, reminding me of the unpredictable and sometimes dangerous world we live in.